Welcome to Other Worlds Oracles, a show where we build fictional worlds through designing fortune-telling cards. I'm Autumn, and I seek introductions from the cards. On today's show, we have invited the wonderful Casper Oliver.
Hello.
Casper is an activist, writer, and actor on many projects, including the podcast Jar of Rebuke, a founder and co-head of Thesperience, a grassroots art and activism team that creates media and resources for the LGBTQIA2S+ community. Welcome, Casper.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. It is always such a treat when I get to be on other people's platforms.
Isn't it nice to get to not host for a little bit?
It's so nice. Like, it gives me an extra level of perspective knowing how much work you have to put into to getting the guests and then doing all the tech and doing the everything. But wow, it's such a treat when I when I get to raid other people's spaces. So, Autumn, thank you so much for having me.
Well, you are very welcome to this space. You are not invading at all, so... So, what do you seek from the cards?
The main word that came to mind is inspiration.
Inspiration is a good one.
Yeah, so that was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, I like that. Inspiration for what, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, this might sound like a cheap answer, but that's kind of what I like to let the inspiration itself decide.
Yeah.
I don't often go, okay, I am working on this specific thing. I am making this specific thing. I need to go seek inspiration for that.
Sure.
Because I have found, at least where I'm at currently in my life, that doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
But what really works is going through life, consuming media, doing, my witchy stuff, doing whatever, and just letting inspiration strike wherever it does. And follow that little rabbit hole for as long as the serotonin will let me.
Yeah, I get that. With my kind of ADHD experience, I have a lot of just kind of, if the iron's hot, then we strike, and we're just going to go for it.
Yep. You can't let it cool down. You've got to go as soon as it happens, because it'll be over before you know it.
Yep. Well, speaking of that, what is your experience with world building and storytelling?
So I've been kind of a storyteller, I've been a storyteller for as long as I can remember. I was, telling stories with my Barbie dolls, my paper dolls, my little, like the littlest pet shop toys. And,
Yeah.
And then as I got older and we had a computer that had an actual typing, like writing program on it. And so I actually started typing and writing stories and started to do role playing on Tumblr and did, TTRPGs, and it's all that on top of like fiction stories that I write now. So like Jar of Rebuke. I love storytelling. I love especially telling mysteries because I feel like there's kind of a equation that you can follow.
Yeah.
And that helps my ADHD brain a lot, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, I know this is happening, so I have to be able to make this make sense. And so the whole rest of the story is just this making sense. And for me, that's a lot easier to do. And I love doing tabletop. Like, I love both DMing and playing a character, but when it comes to being a game master for whatever system you're playing, that you have the flexibility to make this really rich, authentic world, and that kind of gets tested by your like players.
Yeah.
Because, for an example, I was DMing a one shot for my birthday years ago, right? And it was the first time I ever ran a game called Welcome to Nextless, which I have actually streamed, and it is on YouTube. But the first time I ever ran it, we ran it in like an 18-hour game session, only stopped for food and figuring out my stupid car insurance shit. But I built the town. I had a map. I was like, okay, and then there's this and there's that and there's a library. And I mentioned it so passively, right? And then the entire group was like, we want to go to the library. And I'm like, I didn't put shit in the okay. And so it kind of was like, ooh, a town should have a library. I didn't think of what's in the library. And so you really have to like be able to think on the fly. And
Absolutely.
you mentioned that I do acting. One of the things that I do is immersive entertainment. Specifically, I am a murder mystery party actor. And so I get hired professionally to go help make a group of people believe, oh no, you're not at this like charity auction for whatever. You are actually in a 1920s speakeasy, right? And like, you know, with the costumes, and we're not being realistic, right? I'm walking into that place talking like this. I have offended more New Yorkers in Florida than ever, right? But it really takes people out of where they were. Thank God I'm also not in Florida anymore. But taking them out of where they were and putting them where they should be, where this murder mystery party makes sense, right? We are going to put you into a situation where someone is going to die, and it's not going to be traumatizing, and we are not calling the cops because some actor is going to show up and handle the situation. And that requires world building. That requires you to set the stage for, you know, teaching the audience the lingo and letting them use it, right? And oh, this character from this newspaper that you obviously have read. And then it brings them into that realm of they're no longer John from accounting. They are now, you know, Two-Eyed Tommy in, you know, like a 1920s mob. And all of that comes together to, I love telling stories, and I love transporting people into new places, whether they are inspired by real periods or places or it's completely fictional.
Yeah.
And I love how the creative community, especially with like the internet and itch.io and all those things, have created this like these wide range of ways that you can do world building. You can collaborate. You could have one person do it and let people run free, you know? And I just love that opportunity for creative collaboration in making a world really come to life.
Absolutely. And, you know, I appreciate what can come out of multiple people building a world together. Because like you're saying, it's like you get this cool play set for your players and you place it in front of them and they're like, ooh, that's a cool box, I'm gonna play in that. Like any good cat would.
Yeah, they really are cats. And I've joked that stage managing like a play is like herding cats. It's the same with DMing a tabletop game.
Yeah.
You are stage managing a game, basically, where there is no script and there is no blocking. The actors just do whatever they want and you have to make it work. And I say that with all the love in my heart. I love being a player. I love being a game master. It does require a lot of creativity and a lot of energy.
Like facilitation is such an interesting thing in creativity because like we set the boundaries under which creativity can be possible, like creating these limitations that you can work with and against and bounce off of. And like finding the balance between that and just completely shutting someone down or being too open to like getting in the weeds of something can get so complicated.
But it's, I think that's kind of what makes it, like, how do I put this? Okay, an example is I ran the same script for Murder Mysteries. I could run it 3 nights in a row with the same 3 actors. It is going to be a different show every time.
Sure.
Because of the audience, right? You can run something 1,000 times and you add one new person to it. One. And it can change the entire dynamic of the show. I recently was in a murder mystery. I was in an Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, right? A very somber story. But because of how we actors approached the lines and the delivery, we had to do one parody run where we just made jokes because we had to get them out of our system. We turned the damn show into a comedy. And actors do that all the time. You see people running like Les Mis and them turning these long dramatic sessions into laughing fits. And it's just that creative input. And I really love to see that in tabletops. It doesn't always work out well. Sometimes there's issues. But when it does work well, it's like magic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Speaking of magic, have you ever had your fortune read?
Oh, darling. I have. I've been a practicing witch for over a decade now.
Yeah.
This is not to get anything, but I was deconstructed Baptist, specifically like Southern Midwestern Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things that got me into that was tarot. And
Yeah.
I've always loved it. And I've even been lucky to like do tarot readings for non practicing like pagans. My wife is Catholic. She loves having her tarot read because it makes her think about things.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's even like I've had a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's fake, you're just pulling cards. It's like, right, yes, we are just pulling cards, but it is, at least in my perspective of it, it's like you don't even need to believe that there's like spirits navigating the cards. You don't even need to believe that there's some deity trying to connect with you. Just pulling the cards, and if it resonates with you and makes you think, like, think of it as less of a spirituality divination tool and more of like a therapy tool.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I personally love the magic-y, witchy side of things, and I use tarot to communicate with my late mother and all these other things. But I think it can also be a great tool for non-spiritual skeptics, whomever, and they're also often very gorgeous.
Yes.
That you have like 75 mini art pieces in one of those boxes.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yes, I think tarot is so neat.
It's been really interesting being able to see who I can bring on the show because, like, we have such a breadth of experience from people who are just kind of role players, who are very experienced with world building, and we have people who are, you know, more on the like spiritual side of things, and people all in between and combinations and all of that good stuff. And it's really fascinating to see all of them have incredible thoughts to add to this kind of pot that we have here. And I am just in love with the ideas that everybody keeps coming up with and how it makes them think and what comes up in conversation during that thinking.
Yeah.
So,
again, it's a very collaborative experience.
yes.
Like, doing tarot has never, it always feels like it just brings about a conversation. Unless
Yes.
I'm doing it like virtually, right? And someone is like, hey, I'll give you $15. Can you do a whatever spread? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll type out the kind of explanations and the thoughts that the cards bring to me. And sometimes we'll talk about it, but often virtually it kind of ends up with, well, you know, that was great. Give me a lot to think about, right?
Yeah.
But I like doing them in person because you can have those conversations.
Yes.
And it can sometimes be less about what the card said and more about what it prompted you to say.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah.
Yeah. And that leads me to ask the other question, which is, would you like to have your fortune read by one of the cards we made?
I would be honored. I would be honored, yes.
I will say it's always interesting. Like, I always feel like a little bit self-conscious about like pulling cards for people who are very experienced because I'm on my very like early stages of kind of my witchery experience, and like I always am a little bit concerned that they're gonna like not judge me because I feel like the people who've been on here are very warm and understanding, but like I guess there's a worry about doing something wrong, and maybe that's just like the autistic part of me, but like
I think it makes sense though. It's like, it's kind of like, I don't know, when I join a theater, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like feeling confident, and then all of a sudden I learn that my castmate has been performing at that exact theater for longer than I've been alive, and I'm like, well, I suddenly feel a lot less confident in delivering my lines. It's kind of similar. It's like, I don't know, I joke and say it's a very humbling thing, but like, I also just like, part of the reason, I am not by any means comparing you to a child, but the reason I love working with kids is it's often their first time doing a lot of things, or
Yes.
they are newer to things because they've been around less time.
Yeah.
And I love interacting with people and introducing them to things, or
Absolutely.
like, hey, have you ever played this video game? No? Great, come join us. I'm warning you, you will suck at it because this is a hard game, but that's not the point. Come have fun with us. And so that's why I was like, hell yeah. I'm even more honored to know that you're newer to this and decided that you wanted to do this with me. That's very sweet. And I'm very touched.
Well, thank you. And, you know, I think that's something that a lot of people get really afraid of saying that they don't know something, when so many times if you say no, people will just get excited and say, oh, I get to introduce you. That's so exciting.
Yep. That's why I'm never like, you haven't watched this? What do you mean you haven't? Mine, the thing is, you haven't watched this? Please let me show it to you.
Yes.
Or, oh my gosh, you still get to experience this for the first time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, and it also really helps curb the weird tension that conversations can sometimes spur when they're like, well, no, I haven't, and now I don't want to. You get rid of that. You make them excited. So
yeah, less judgment and more just excitement in the process and of getting to share something with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so as far as the cards go, we have had 2 cards that have not been read yet, and so I would like to introduce you to one of those 2. Could you pick a 1 or a 2? You're like an optometrist.
1 or 2? I'll go with 2.
Okay, so this one was created by my lovely friend Ghost. It is called The Helping Hand, and I'll describe the kind of visual to expect and paint a word picture, so to speak. We have, centered between 4 marble pillars in a lush flower garden, is a statue of the handyman, a past member of the community who was known for fixing just about anything that needed mending. In front of the statue pillar is a bench where a person is feeding a mother duck and her ducklings. All of them are in a line, the handyman looking over the community member he cared for, the person feeding the mother duck, and the mother taking her ducklings under her protective wing. So we're looking at kind of themes here of like care and goodwill, community and appreciation, mutual appreciation for each other, which I think is very much on vibe for what we have had so far. I feel very, very welcomed in my own show by you.
I mean, I would hope so. I think one of the worst things you could do is make someone uncomfortable on their own show. But no, I was like, wow, that's such a nice card.
It's a really nice card, isn't it?
Wow, I want to live by this statue with...
You know, I think Ghost might murder me if I don't mention the duck is a Muscovy duck.
Ooh.
Are you familiar?
I like birds. Yeah. Where is there going to be a place that we can see these?
The cards?
Yeah.
They have not been illustrated yet. The hope is to one day have them illustrated and made into a deck. But that would be a delightful thing. And if we were able to get enough traction to be able to get support for that, then could be a thing.
Well, you heard it here, folks. And if you're not listening to this, you don't hear me right now. But if you're not listening to this, what are you doing? Like, what can you possibly doing that's not listening to this here right now and supporting this tarot project? I can't think of a single thing that's more important. There you go, Autumn.
What a plug. Excellent.
I'll do the shaming for you so it's not associated with the host.
Well, you know, I think that falls directly into like the meaning of this card. We're like in the middle of this long line of tradition of being cared for and caring for other people. It's important to let people know that you appreciate them. Like, I appreciate you coming on and helping me with this project. And even when things aren't like grand gestures, those like small things, whether you're asking for them or, you know, granting them, can really bring a community together.
Yeah. And like, there's many mottos I live by. And one of them very much is the giving what you need. And I always feel the need to kind of preface this by saying, like, I need money, right?
Yeah.
So I can't give money, right? But like, okay, I can't give money, but I'm feeling a little down today, and I could really use some jokes. But no one's telling any jokes. So I'm going to tell some jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make people laugh. And then you make yourself laugh, and you've also made other people laugh. And I think people can get so hung up on, well, I can't give anything materially. And it's like, well, you don't have to. I feel like materials being the main way we show up for each other is a much newer concept.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to imagine that comes from a cultural attitude of like things only matter when they provide material worth to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. And like that's just simply not true.
Ah, damn it, capitalism is at it again.
Ah, yes, the obligatory capitalism mention. We love it on
Ah.
this show.
Oh yeah, one of the last campaigns that I was running before my massive creative burnout,
Hmm.
which I'm still recovering from. Burnout is very serious, folks. Don't take it lightly.
Truly.
Was I jokingly, it was Nextless Games. The
Hmm.
title of the game was Clocked In,
Hmm.
and the caption was Anti-Capitalism: The Game. And they all like worked for a corporation, and everything was very like urban fantasy. But the whole thing is every issue that was caused in that game was because of capitalism,
Hmm.
and they all had to come back and like fight it. Very cathartic. So yeah,
Absolutely.
fuck capitalism and
Absolutely.
everything it rings. But yeah, what it doesn't hinder, well, no, it hinders it. But one thing that capitalism can't take from us is
Hmm.
community,
Yeah.
unless we let it. But that's a whole entire other conversation.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I think like recognition and appreciation goes a lot
Hmm.
farther than people think,
Yeah.
right? Like, I could, share my podcast and get no one signing up for my Patreon, right?
Hmm.
But if I were getting reviews that were like, oh my gosh, this podcast is so good, or I really love this, I love this character, or if people were talking about it online, or, people were sharing it with their friends, like,
Hmm.
that would mean infinitely more.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists are like that, I've learned. While I need money to survive, that is not why I make art.
I'm very much the same way. I have talked about this before on the show, but I've had so many creative endeavors that I wanted to like make money and make something popular and all that stuff. And like, that's okay, cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's not what I made this one to be. I just wanted to make something cool for my friends and be able to make friends and get to know people and have an excuse to email someone out of the blue and say, hey, can we have a conversation?
Oh my gosh, I feel that. Like,
Uh huh.
so we have the Queer Thesperience, which is a interview podcast.
I saw that. Yeah.
And the main reason I do that is as an excuse to be like, wow, I really like this queer author. I wonder if I could interview them. And
Yes.
that's how I met Jason, who's now my boyfriend and co-head of Thesperience. We met because I interviewed him. And years and years and years passed, and now we're living together, basically married, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing what just sending one email can lead to friendships
Hmm.
and just these like newfound bonds that you never would have otherwise had.
Absolutely.
Well, at that point, it's almost like a so what if anyone listens.
Mm-hmm.
You two became friends. That's almost all that matters. If
Yeah.
anyone listens to it and gets something from it, that's an amazing bonus.
We love
Eh,
a bonus, but that's not necessary for the
yeah.
creative fire
Yeah.
behind everything. Yeah.
This has been so nice. And we're not even halfway in, I don't
I was
think.
gonna say we haven't even talked about the card yet. Like, do you want to make a card?
Yes. Oh my gosh, please.
All right. So the way this is going to work is that we're going to design a card similar to the ones in a tarot or oracle deck with three main characteristics: a setting, a main character called the Arcana, and some kind of artifact called the Symbol. We will draw cards with prompts and assign them to each characteristic, giving us a direction to start in. From there, we will build on each concept until we have fleshed out a story combining all three elements. We will then determine what the card will look like and what its meanings could be. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm giving you a heads up now. My autism is murder mystery flavored, so this might become a detective card. I'm just letting you know.
That is so fair, and I'm into it. We don't
All
have a
right.
detective yet, so.
First card, let's go.
All right, first card. We have our deck, and we have Clockwork.
Okay, steampunk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, steampunk detective. We've got this. Okay.
Do you want to assign that to the setting, the Arcana,
Yes.
or the symbol?
I think the setting, because my first thought was just steampunk.
Yes.
So let's have the setting be clockwork. We'll have this be a steampunk card.
I love it. And second card. Oh, it's young. It's a little kitty cat.
Aw. Okay, so we've got like an amateur sleuth, maybe.
Okay. Are you thinking Arcana for this one then?
Yeah. So kind of like almost like a fool type card, like beginning
like
of
at the beginning.
Yeah, like the beginning of the adventure. So young can be the Arcana, kind of like the fool card.
I love it. Okay, so what's the symbol going to be? Ooh, power.
Okay.
A setting of clockwork, an Arcana that's young, and a symbol of power.
Okay. Almost like a young sleuth discovering their deductive powers. Like, like the moment when like the vibes, like the moment of like a young Sherlock Holmes realizing what he could do with his powers, sort of thing. Or like Nancy Drew realizing that she could do these things.
They don't tell that very often in the stories, do they?
No.
They often have it very established, like this person has been on the case for a while or has lots of experience, but this is just someone going like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I like that a lot.
We love us at Amateur Sleuth, because listen, I love murder mysteries, but I am also very staunchly ACAB. So the only reason Columbo is not included is because he did arrest his own police commissioner for committing a crime. And I'm like, okay, if you're able to do that, then you can stay. Just keep doing that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Anyway, yes, okay.
Should we start with the setting and flesh that out?
Yes.
What are we kind of looking at? If we're like taking the portrait of this card, what's in the background?
So if we want, I think it could be really cool to like, okay, have you seen Knives Out?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It's a murder mystery with Daniel Craig in it, and in between the first and second movie, Benoit Blanc, the character, was confirmed gay, and it was shown in the second film. How dare they force Daniel Craig to play super straight man James Bond 007 with explosives when he could have been playing this fruity, campy private eye. Anyway, in the first movie, there is this like mansion that's lived in, and it's very maximalist. There's books and portraits and busts and statues everywhere. There's like not an inch of this mansion that isn't just covered with art and history. And I think that kind of vibe, kind of like a steampunky library, but almost like a private at-home library.
Private at-home library. Gotcha.
So like the young sleuth maybe is discovering like, okay, maybe less this is like Sherlock Holmes discovering his power, but more like the great-grandchild of Sherlock Holmes who has the same affinity, kind of following in their ancestors' footsteps. And I know that's been done a bunch of times, but we're going to make it original, okay? But yeah, so kind of like almost like one looking to the past instead of the future for what to do moving forward.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll get to the Arcana later, but are they like opening a book or are they
Yeah, I specifically think it'd be cool if you could tell that they were at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, I like that.
So they have like just opened the book.
Excellent. So we're in kind of this library. Is it like well kept or is it like kind of dusty?
I think it's probably kind of dusty. Again, I think it'd be really cool to really lean into you're looking into the past.
Yes.
And usually things like dust are associated with age because it's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So, and I think that also kind of fits with like the clockwork setting it's steampunk, but we're also having this moment that is intentionally focused on you're not even in the present moment of the scene. You are engaging with the past in this scene through going through these old books.
Yeah.
If you want to get like super artsy-fartsy abstract with it. But yeah, no, so I think like kind of just opening up like a dusty old book. Like you pulled it out, like you could see the dust like aligned with where the book was. Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Is like the background just the bookshelf, or is there something like to contrast against the books, like something more steampunk, modern, futuristic?
Yeah. So I was thinking that like So you have like the bookshelf, right? And you can also see more of the room where maybe you have like, you know, you have the very traditional like pipe works and things of steampunk. So like kind of maybe giving the feel that you're like on a steampunky kind of airship energy, right? Maybe there's like a window. But I think it'd be really interesting if like similar with how the book is only barely open. What if the curtain is just barely open, right? And so like any entrance or exit with this room or the interactions are it's all just taking a peek. You are just starting to come out of whatever kind of period or thought process or whatever, and you're just now entering into all of these new potentials.
There's something delightful to me about like creating this whole world and then hiding it behind a curtain.
Yeah. I tell you're a mystery writer when it's like no, but the whole experience is to pull back the curtain, right? It's like the whole experience.
Absolutely. I agree.
I mean, it's the same thing with burlesque. The whole point of it is to pull back the curtain. I hope that's appropriate.
I never thought of burlesque as mystery before, but like, yeah.
Honestly, a burlesque murder mystery party would be perfect. I honestly, Jessica Rabbit, Why Don't You Do Right? Boom. Has to be there, right? That's murder mystery burlesque. Anyway, tarot.
Okay. So we have like this kind of, we can kind of see maybe just on the edge some of the like technology and like the window. Is it in the sky so you can like just see a cloud outside your window?
Yeah, or like either you see it that or like you see like the very top of like a cityscape. It's like you're either ascending or you haven't left yet. Which again you can kind of lean into. You're not fully in the sky, but you can't really see the town anymore, right? You're transitioning. Yeah.
That's cool. What kind of colors are we looking at in this kind of background?
So to go with like traditional steampunk, but also I've noticed this to be true for like a lot of detective aesthetic stuff. So it works of the very like brown, beige, copper, woody colors. And you can also get that again with the pipes, but you can also get that with whether you have the bookshelf be made of metal or wood, it can be kind of that color. And you could kind of contrast that with like the different color spines of the books, right? So you're almost showing that the current is a little duller, right? But like maybe the sky outside, the curtain, and the books each give pops of color to kind of bring your eye to those points specifically.
Yeah. More contrast.
Yeah. And it brings you to the transitional, like, they're just reading the book. They're just pulling open the window. They're just now seeing the sky. Like, so you bring color to those points in the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now I'm just thinking about composition, which is very hard to talk about on a podcast.
Yeah, I know, because I'm almost like wanting to like draw, like, okay, you see like this here, this is what I'm thinking. But yeah.
I love that. Is there a history to this airship? Like, what is the person doing there? Or supposed to be doing there?
So my first thought kind of went to like almost like a... Keep in mind, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so forgive me if I'm like misremembering, but like Treasure Planet, where it's like you're finally leaving to go see the great beyond, right? And it's kind of, again, that very optimistic, open-ended, like, I don't know, I'm just going to explore, that kind of naive sort of just in for the thrill of it. And so I think it could kind of be like, maybe you can tell in the like attire that the person is wearing that they clearly aren't prepared for one particular thing, right? So maybe it's like their clothes are durable, but they aren't wearing like full armor or anything, but they're not, you know, it's like they have little bits and pieces to maybe show this like general, like, I don't know where I'm going, but like the forethought to learn about what you might need. So kind of showing this like educated person, but again, there's only so much knowledge that you can have without the wisdom to accompany it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could kind of what's being leaned on is you have someone with intelligence and this, again, power, quote unquote, with this intelligence, but they don't have the wisdom to match it yet. So that could be kind of like the vibe of this character.
Smart, clever, lacking experience.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I like that.
Great potential.
Uh-huh.
But at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do the Arcana or the symbol next, do you think?
Let's do the Arcana, because I think that could affect the way we do the symbol.
I like that. Do you have an image of what this person looks like? This detective?
I think because I'm, a trans mask person and I don't see enough trans mask representation, I would very much love to have this be someone who's like coded to be a early transition trans man. Or transmasculine person. So maybe there could be, like, if they're wearing layers, you could see some sort of, like, compression binder, or even some, like, top surgery scars, depending on how we have the outfit. But I am imagining them wearing a little bit more, because mostly detectives are usually, the button-ups and the ties and the coats and the...
And, like, there's something to that about, like, being able to hide shape with firm clothes can be very helpful.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, the detective uniform is peak trans man fashion. I learned that when I first started doing murder mysteries. I passed so well when I was my detective because the coat with its square shoulders and the layers with the tie and the button-up and the coat and everything. That's why a lot of trans men claim Columbo. Where it's like, why is he wearing a trench coat in 90-degree LA weather? Because they didn't have similar access to the same operations. Well, I mean, to be fair, there were still operations happening at that point, but that's a whole other thing. But no, so I think you could kind of lean into like a early transition trans mask person for... I'm still trying to, like, picture, like, I'm not sure if I'm necessarily getting a particular, like, face. And maybe the face doesn't matter as much as, like, what they're doing. So it's less who they are and more what they're doing. I think that more tarot decks need to have more people of color in them. I think we need to have more of color detectives. So I am highly in support of... while the gender may be like me, the complexion should not be. Every trans man you see in media is usually a white trans man. Okay, we need to change things here. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Well, there was. So there is a detective series where I cannot remember the name, but it follows a. She was the first Black female like detective in like traditional whodunit media, and her name is Precious, and it takes place in Africa because I can't remember which country the author lived in, but it's a series I've very much been meaning to get around to. And so in honor of Precious, we can have this detective be a young early transition Black trans man, and kind of again having that like base understanding of the world and the leaning into the knowledge of those who came before him to trek his path forward that he's very unsure about. So I think the body language could show it's like confidence, but not like, maybe it's like he has his head high, but he's not like chest isn't puffed, right? He's not giving a smirk. He's giving this like inquisitive look to the book. So confidence, but not pride. Not, like pride, right? Gay pride, but not like sin pride, right? But yeah, he's not haughty. He's very like open and inquisitive from what little I've watched, kind of like Tintin energy, young, scrappy, and ready to get out there, maybe a little over his head sometimes, but has the intelligence and the smarts to get out of it all, but always and the intelligence to learn a lesson, because that in and of itself is a skill, because you can go through things and not learn a damn thing, And I think it is a skill to be able to go through things and be like, okay, wait, no, let's look at what we've learned here. Maybe I won't do that next time. Well, now we know. And that's
now we know.
Yeah. So I want this character to give that kind of energy.
I like that. Is he the one running the ship, or is he just kind of like a crew member, or?
I think that this character should be like a guest or a low-ranking member. I also want to say I did look up the book series. It is the number one ladies detective agency that takes place in Botswana. I would have felt bad if I didn't give that series its proper due. Anyway, I think that this young gentleman we're looking at is like, again, like a Treasure Planet Jim Hawkins kind of like. He's at the bottom rung, right? But it's a nice ship, right? So it's not like you're bottom rung on some rickety old like ship that's barely held together. Like, you are still a part of like a prestigious group, but like you still have to earn your stripes.
More potential.
Yes. This person is in a prime position for potential.
Opportunity.
Yeah, it just matters what he does next.
And he's turning to these sources of wisdom from the past to try to add to the lack of depth that he has now.
Yeah. Finding wisdom where he can without the lived experience.
Yes.
Support your local libraries, folks. Anyway.
Correct. And what do you think is the symbol then? The symbol of power? Is it the book? Is it something else?
I think we should lean back into the clockwork imagery.
Tell me about that.
Because you often have like family heirlooms, which are passed down, especially in narrative settings, right? And I think if you want to kind of lean into the steampunky vibe while also leaning into the referencing the past to have knowledge for the future, you could have some sort of like a pocket watch. Like either clasped in a hand or dangling from like one pocket to another, around the neck. You know, you have a wide range of things you could do with a pocket watch. I'm also just a sucker for pocket watches, and I think like a time traveling trinket that's a pocket watch would be super cool. So giving it almost that energy, like we're not necessarily saying that this person is a time traveler, but the knowledge is coming from another time. So it's not that he's the time traveler, it's that the knowledge is traveling through time.
Okay.
Through the books, through the studies, through the stories, through the lineage.
Visually, is there like an aura around?
Maybe it's catching some light from the pulled curtain. So like the light that's coming through from the emerging sky is kind of glinting off of. So the light of what's to come, this bright new future, is bringing attention to this item of the past to bring one's eye to it.
I think that's really cool. And I think that the like steampunk side of things is like a really interesting representation of this too, because it's the future of the past.
Yeah, because you're fully leaning into like technology and all of these things of the past, but it is so futuristic as you do it. I think steampunk is second to solar punk for me, because I want a solar punk world, but steampunk is one of my favorites to play in because I think it's just so good. But yeah, and I think it does lend itself very well to this like my brain was just like this wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. Yeah. It's not a podcast with queer folks if there's not some sort of, sci-fi reference.
Right. Is there a price to this artifact? Like
I think
a responsibility or something?
I think it's one of those things that like, I have a ring that was my mother's. And I mentioned my mother's gone, right? The ring itself doesn't hold, I could maybe pawn it for like $5. Right? It's not valuable. We were poor. But when I wear it, it holds a lot of power to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I wear that ring, that's one of the things I check to make sure I haven't left behind. I want this pocket watch to kind of maybe hold that energy. Like, maybe some banker wouldn't look at this and go, this has value. But the person in the card clearly holds value to it. Maybe you can tell it's aged, maybe some discoloration, maybe some whatever, but it is polished. It is, like, there may be some dents in it, but it is polished.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe there's, like, little cracks in it, but the glass is kept clean. So little touches like that, I think, could chef's kiss could kind of build that kind of. It has sentimental value, but not necessarily monetary value, because at the end of the day, which matters more? I know my answer, and it's not the money.
Yeah. I was just letting that breathe for a second.
I wanted the audience to think about it, but I think most people listening to this might have the same answer, and if not, maybe we give them something to think about.
Absolutely. So we have this kind of imagery. We're on the inside of this airship with all this technology, and like we have this sliver of a window with the tops of the skyline, and that light is shining on this pocket watch worn by this like prepared but unseasoned person who is reading like the very beginning of a book studiously to try to pick up on the knowledge of former past explorers, detectives, chroniclers, all that stuff. Is there anything you would add to that?
Adding, like, maybe on his face, maybe wherever, this kind of add of that excitement at the beginning of a journey.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have, like, Bilbo Baggins running, I'm going on an adventure, right? You have that beginning, that, like, where you're like, all right, I'm all packed, the car is going, we're going on this trip. Having that kind of energy, right? Maybe that you could see that this gentleman is kind of moving from foot to foot, and his face is lit with, curiosity and excitement.
I was gonna say wide eyes, or
maybe he's fiddling with the pocket watch, like as a kind of almost like stimming excitedly with the pocket watch.
Yeah.
To pull more focus to that.
Does this young man have a name or a title?
Ooh, okay. Oh, what's the term? If I'm remembering correctly, doesn't the word amateur come from the root of, like, from the love of something?
Does it? Like amour?
Yeah. Is that correct? Because I think that could be really fun to play with.
Could be.
Yeah, amateur originates from the Latin amator, meaning lover.
Really?
And French meaning one who loves an art or study but does not professionally practice it. So it could be like the amateur, the aspirer.
The aspiring amateur.
The aspiring amateur. I want to love things. But yeah, I think that pulling from like amateur rooted in a love of something, I think that could be a fun way to name it.
Yeah.
And I think that also can kind of give you have like the amateur detective, right? Ooh, okay. So you get like the amateur private eye. My brain just thought of like the amateur's eye, right? So you see that this amateur is looking to the past instead of staring blindly into the future.
Yeah.
And you get all of these references to look back to the past, to not forget the past.
Yeah.
So kind of like an amateur's eye, and one's love of something tends to build on things that have already existed.
Yeah.
Right? And so like the amateur's eye or something like that, a little nod to private eye, a little nod to like, studious, nose in a book, eyes on the papers sort of thing.
And perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. The amateur's eye, the amateur's perspective, something like that could be really fun.
Yeah, I like that. Is that the name of the card?
Yeah, I think so.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't really know if I have a name for the character themselves.
If we're going with like the fool, it could just be like the amateur.
Yeah, the amateur. Naming is the last thing I ever do with characters. Like, I literally will build all these NPCs and I go into a game and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to name them. So yeah, I think the amateur works very well, but I want it again to be delivered very positively, very lovingly.
Yes.
Not the amateur
Yeah.
as in fucking amateur, right? More of that's where most professionals start.
Yeah. And also, do you need to make money off of something for it to
No?
count as important?
No. Yeah. And that's also very true. Like, if you're doing something, if you're making something, I think it intrinsically has value. If you are pursuing something, it has value. Like, I haven't performed for paid murder mystery party since like 2022, but I still host friends to do Hunt a Killer. I still plan murder mystery parties to invite friends to. I'm not making a dime, but I still very much identify as one who hosts murder mystery parties, right?
Yeah.
I'm just doing it for friends. I'm just doing it for, to be honest, I'm doing it for me at the end of the day because I want to do it. But unfortunately, to host a good murder mystery party, you need other people there. And so I find my theatrical friends, I'm like, hey, none of you are doing shows right now. Let's have an excuse to play with costumes and be silly. No one's making a dime. But everyone has really good memories, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what matters. Even if you paint something and never show anyone, you keep that painting. Hell, maybe you paint something and then you burn it. But did you get enjoyment out of the experience? That's what matters. Yeah, it's the process. Art is less the end product and more the process of making it, which is why AI art sucks. Anyway, it is just the process of making things, of doing things.
Yeah.
There's people who research topics that they never get a degree in. They never have a career in, right? And they just research it for the love of it. People who spend hours at the library just reading books on whatever. They're not doing it because they're going to make something out of it. For the love of learning.
And I think learning is making.
Yeah. I mean, it is, like, if you want to talk about it very scientifically, like, when you learn new things, you are making new neural pathways in your brain.
Exactly.
Learning things does help the elasticity of your brain. I am not a brain scientist. I have just been in therapy and in and out of mental health programs. Let me share my knowledge. But no, like, learning new things expands like your neural pathways. That's one of the reasons why, like, learning new languages at a young age makes it easier for you to learn additional languages later. That's why when, you know, learning to read music at a young age helps strengthen the brain. It's because you are putting more languages, more ways of processing things into a person's brain, and that really does. So yeah, no, like, learning is making. It is growing. You are literally growing your brain. Yeah. Okay, not literally, because that's a medical problem, but like, you are figuratively growing your brain.
Well, you're connecting your brain.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. You are connecting parts of your brain that were not otherwise connected. Yeah. And the more interconnected the brain, the better, I think. Yeah. That's an assumption. But yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah. So we have the amateur's eye here. If you were to pull this card, what sort of themes would come up, do you think, in your reading of it?
So if I were to pull this card, I would kind of see it, again, as like the fool's card of, like, you are at the beginning of a journey. You are at the start of something new. And maybe seeing it either as, like, you are heading, not necessarily you are heading in the right direction. Because I feel like a good card isn't going to give that definitive of you are on the path to good things. You know, I feel like that feels almost like we're opening, like, one of those mass manufactured fortune cookies. Yeah. But more of, like, there are such bright horizons. Right? There are such open pastures and such green fields to explore. Yeah. But your actions are up to you. And I think it would also be a card for reflection, specifically on, like, the past. Because, not to get too heavy, but we are kind of repeating history right now.
Yeah, sure are.
And what's unfortunate is that because so many people either believe that history didn't happen as it did, or are just completely ignorant to what happened,
Mm-hmm.
Or they're like, oh, I know all about these horrible things that happen, but you don't know about what led to those horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
What let those horrible things happen?
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, because we're seeing it happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the card could give kind of a, don't go into anything new like foolishly.
Mm-hmm.
Look into things, right? You know,
Yeah.
for an example, little things I would have loved to have told my little self. Hey, you want to get into cosplay? Instead of stressing yourself out over how to do this without like looking into it, why don't you like look up on DeviantArt or MySpace and see how other people, I'm dating myself, but like look into seeing how other people were dressing up as these characters. You want to make AMVs? Look into other people making these anime AMVs and maybe see what tech they're using, you know. And I think it all comes around to, you are hardly ever the first person to do something.
Yeah.
I am not saying that to dissuade. For me, that's actually been incredibly inspirational.
Me
there
too.
are billions of people, and have been even more billions of people, to have done things before you. And I think especially as queer people, we don't connect with that a lot.
Mm-hmm. There have been so many times in my life where I'm like, I have had a truly original idea. Everybody listened to my truly original idea, and everyone's like, that was proposed by someone in 1600, Autumn. Like,
Yep.
yeah, okay, fair enough. And what you were saying about like queerness too is like, again, the history has been removed from us and taken from us.
Yeah.
And we don't get to have this opportunity to always look back at the past as much as we would like to.
Yeah. It can take a lot of intentional searching.
Yes.
It can take connecting with people, you know, and I think kind of having it set in a library is like a further kind of nod to that sort of political message of like, you know, you go to a library, and that is where I've been able to find most of my LGBTQ plus history, has been either through libraries or through very passionate scholars and amateurs on the internet.
Yeah.
It's been a mixture of amateurs and scholars, because like I feel like there's kind of this disconnect between the scholars and the everyday. And it takes the amateurs to like be that kind of middle link.
That nexus, yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a critique of anything. I think it's a beautiful way for society to, you know, you have people who need to know more about things, people who have all the knowledge, and then people who help bridge those gaps.
Yeah, like we need science communicators.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I need someone to explain to me how meteorology works, because I still will look at the weather channels and be like, what's this witchcraft? Like that little small town Baptist in me squints out of my, how in the hell, you know? Right? And I know there's science behind it. I know there has to be. I just don't know how it works. Right? Yeah. And I also feel it important to say, just because I don't know how meteorology works doesn't mean I think it is bullshit.
Right.
But I think that's really where that knowledge and communication really, gosh, especially now. I was really thinking about this the other day of like, wow, society, like, I hate to use society as like this large broad term, but like
a monolith.
Yeah, because that's not fair, especially because we live in actually, I don't know where you are in the US. It is a massive country full of smaller little societies everywhere. I've lived in 3 different ones. You know, small town Indiana, like right outside of Tampa, Florida, and now small rural but still college town Oregon, right? And it's all been very different. But no matter where I've lived, the people kind of higher up in charge, especially here in the country, do not want us to be that educated.
Right.
They want us to be ignorant and unwilling to learn, because they want us to think, oh, you know everything you need to know.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You didn't even learn how to like say please and thank you. You didn't learn how to share So I think leaning into what this card would mean if you pulled it.
Yes.
I think that it could kind of mean in reference to all of that, right? Like looking back to what's been done and said before, and let that guide you and inspire you to make your decisions for future happenings. So that you kind of have to be, especially as you mentioned, queer history was taken from us. We all kind of have to sleuth it out to go find our history.
Yeah.
Like most of our elders were like, especially for like our generation, our queer elders died off. So we are becoming the queer elders. And
scary, right?
I know. I used to be a teacher. I used to be a social worker that worked with teens, and never did I feel older than when I was like, someone referred to me as like an elder in the community. I'm like, what? Anyway, yeah. So looking back on your past and having to do the research and the time to sleuth and study, good detectives tend to be quite studious people. Right? And I laugh sometimes to compare, like, astute minds like Sherlock Holmes. No. That man was an avid, I don't need to know if the sun circles the earth or if the moon circles the sun or the whatever. I don't care how the planets move. And I'm like, okay. Okay. But, like, just taking in information and not every bit of information that you take in needs to be useful. Half of the information that I've procured over the years, I don't think my information on how much OSHA violations are ever going to help me as an artist. But it's this information that's stuck in my brain now, and I find fascinating. My singing the ABCs backwards isn't going to help me much in life, but it is a fun party trick, and so it's this whimsy towards taking in knowledge. I the more I talk, the more I'm like, either this is my ADHD or this card can cover a wide range of things.
Why not both?
Hey, yeah, why not both? Both is good.
Both is good. I think that's a great card.
Thank you.
I'm just picturing it now. I like it. Well, thank you so much for making that with me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And if you, dear listeners, want to make this card become a reality, be sure to support Otherworld's Oracles wherever you get your podcasts. Maybe throw some money at them. Keep an eye out for I don't know what they're going to do, but you should go support them.
Thank you.
I know the spiel.
I have one more request, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Can you help me pick 3 new cards to add to the prompt deck? The things like clockwork.
Yes. All right. So how does this work? Are we just coming up with things?
Anything you want. Any one-word vibe.
Okay.
And 3 of them.
3. Okay. Is heart one?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah. So I pick heart. If you have anything like shadow or dark or anything like that.
Shadow would be great.
Yeah. And trickster.
Ooh.
As a Lokian witch and someone who works with Hermes, I feel the need to put trickster into this deck.
What's life without mischief, you know?
Boring. I will say one of the few genuinely wonderful compliments my father ever gave me was I mentioned to him at one point. I was like, wow, I work with Loki, but I also work with Apollo, Dionysus, and Hermes. What does this say about me? Right? And my dad was just like, well, it sounds like you know how to party. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, damn right. I'm in bed before 10, but I will party till then. Anyway, no, thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolutely wonderful time. Yeah, no, thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
Where can folks find you in your work?
Oh, well, ain't that sweet? You can find me. Basically, all of my links are on my Linktree, which is Linktree/Casper Oliver. Casper, like the friendly ghost, and Oliver, like Oliver and Company, which apparently has dated me because some people have said, what's Oliver and Company? And I get a little sad. God, I sound so old. You can find me there. You can find me on Thesperience, which is a mixture of thespian and experience. Thesperience. And we are pretty much on most major social medias, except for Elon's bastard child. And we are now on Blue Sky. So yeah, you can find us and a lot of our works there. I do all sorts of things. Murder mystery parties, I do drag, I do voiceover, I do fanfic writing, you name it. I have probably dabbled and can find that all on my link tree. And I also like to promote other queer, trans, and otherwise marginalized artists and change makers. I have started to I've been developing a habit, or not a habit, a hobby, of building little starter packs on Blue Sky for people to follow. My current project is called Transmasc Treasures, to help people find more transmasculine or transmasc led projects to support and follow. Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram and Blue Sky, but that's not where a lot of my creative stuff goes. That tends to be either live performance or like AO3 or whatever. Again, super long rambles, all on my link tree.
Yeah, we didn't talk very much about your advocacy work, but I just want to thank you and all the folks working on that stuff for all the wonderful things you do.
Most of what I like to do, or what I should say what I'm best at, is being like, oh, hi, you are a Black trans man that just moved to town. I have this big roster of resources. Let me connect you with these groups that I know that may be able to help you. Or, oh shit, I don't know. Let me go ask around. Or, hey, I know this group is a great place to find things. Right? And I try to be as open and honest when I don't know. But my biggest thing is connecting people and things. I love introducing people. My wife jokes that I'm a broke socialite. Because I know everybody and I introduce people to each other, but it's like, what's her name? Daisy from The Great Gatsby. I'm broke, but I know everyone. Anyway, so no, it's an honor, and I feel like activism is my duty for being on this earth. If I am going to be here and I have the ability to help, I feel like it is my duty to do so on days that I'm able. I am incredibly disabled, so I can't always. But to any fellow disabled advocates out there, being alive and making yourself and other people smile is enough. It's more than enough. Because what we need right now is for everyone to come together and to stay alive. If you can't go to protests, that's okay. Do online work. If you have money, send it to, crowdfundings and promote events on social media, or check in on your friends. You can literally just checking in on your friends is an act of community work.
Yeah.
And if you want more zines on community building, check out Thesperience, because I want people to take all of the knowledge that I have and use it for a chaotic good. And most of them are free. So you don't need to spend any money.
Huzzah!
Yay!
And that brings us to the end of our show. A huge thanks to our wonderful guest. You can find us at our usual places or at otherworldsoracles.podbean.com. Thanks for joining us, and remember that magic is creation, and creation is magic. Take care. I'm Autumn, and I seek. One day I will remember to think about this before I say it.